Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy and I am joined by the one, the only Mr. Mark Kitchen. How's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good, fantastic. I am very good myself. I'm looking forward to this chat we're about to have. So,
yes.
As you may remember, a long time ago we did a video, very first video ever, our first Retro Reminisce on a bunch of Mario games. Looking back, maybe a little bit of a mistake doing all of them, but we did talk about Super Mario Bros. 3, which both me and Mark, I think it's our favourite 2D platformer of all time. And for a while I've been pestering him to do a sort of a follow-up video to that, kind of talking about why we like it so much and why we, compared to other games and the other Mario games, why we like it so much. So,
since our segment in the Retro Reminisce episode was probably about 10 minutes or less long or something, I don't know.
I think we spent more time on Super Mario Bros. 2, didn't we?
Probably, yeah.
Which is bizarre. But we're just going to kind of like a casual chat about it, like just one of these things that I feel like we could just expand on a lot of the reasons why we liked it. If you haven't watched that video, feel free to go back. I'll put a link for it in the bottom, in the description of this one. But yeah, we're just going to just talk about Super Mario Bros. 3 and why we think it is probably the best 2D platformer ever made, and even to this day. So a little bit of history, I suppose, about the game. Like, when you played this one, like, were you quite young, or was this much later on in your life?
Much later on.
Yeah.
I didn't play it till I was like 19, 20.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you had played it a lot later on in your life than I played it very early on. So
I was only really aware of, when I was really young, like Super Mario Bros. 1.
Yeah.
I didn't play World or Super Mario Bros. 3 until like a lot later.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I was never exposed to it.
Yeah, that's
I think I was aware of Super Mario Bros. 3. I kind of, when I played it for the first time, I was like, I recognised the kind of art style and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't.
Madness, I tell you.
Yeah.
So was it uni that you played this one, or was that World? I can't remember. It was
both of them when I was at uni. Yeah.
Was that the on a NES, or was that both on the SNES version?
Both on the SNES. Yeah. So I played the All Stars version.
Yeah. That's cool. That's actually not a bad way to start, because I think even though I prefer the NES version because it's all beeps and bloops, I do like the upgrades that the All Stars version brought to the game, and the ability to save. So which is always nice.
Yeah.
It's sort of the opposite for me. I know you played it later on in life. I played it much when I had NES when we were a kid. We only had 3 games. We only had Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. So we used to just pick whichever one and play them. So I have very, very like early memories of playing as a kid.
Yeah.
But what was it like? Like when you first played the game, like, having played had you played Super Mario Bros. 2 at this point, or just the first one?
I think I was in at uni. I was just like, I think I just went through them in order.
Yeah.
I was just like, I played this Super Mario Bros. 1, but I haven't played 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so I played 2, and that was weird.
Yeah.
But good.
Like, this is not what I was expecting.
So I thought, I wonder what 3 would be like.
Yeah.
It would be even weirder. I kind of knew that it wasn't. I knew that Super Mario Bros. 2 was the odd one out. So I knew that it would be kind of back to normal platforming, not pulling vegetables out of the ground and stuff. But yeah, just instantly just connected with it. I really like the art style, like how colourful it is.
Yeah.
Just having like a world map was just really cool. I don't think platformers had world maps before this game. I think that
not in the style. I think that you could move yourself around. I think you might have a world map, but it would automatically move you and things. So like sort of multiple paths and things.
And just all the items, all the power ups. And just the level design is just difficulty arc on it is just perfect. Really.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think having played. I remember when I was like playing Mario Brothers, the original and stuff. Like, now when I play those games, I hold down the run button the entire time. Like I'm good at platforming, but I remember being like utterly terrible at those games when I first played them. I was like 4 or 5, and it's so interesting playing 1, 2, and 3 so much. Me and my brother primarily played 1 and 3 because you could play them 2-player. 2 you couldn't. You could just take turns doing it, but like But yeah, as we got older and we had our SNES and started playing those games again, like on the SNES version, we really gravitated to playing Super Mario Bros. 3 a lot because you also had like a battle mode that they had on the SNES version.
Yeah.
So we played that game a lot just for that. But I remember just really liking just a lot of like the music and like you said, the colours and the level design. And the fact that it was a little bit more complicated than the first game. You know, the first one's got a really classic design. The levels are like, for the most part, well made, but like 3 kind of like almost zooms out a little bit, and then you see a bit more of the level, and you just got more things going on. And I think, like you said, it's got a nice difficulty curve. So for the longest time, we get to like World 4 and 5 and be a bit like rubbish. And then we get past it and be like, oh my god, we're on World 6, and you realise it's ice physics, and you're like, oh god. We did complete the game eventually, but it took us years.
Yeah.
Like a long time to get there. So, but yeah, it's weird to think, having spent a lot of time playing all the old Mario games, like that's the one I gravitated to. And I think there's many reasons really. Like I think the level design, like you said, the different worlds, having the themes to the worlds really made you feel like you had progression, and it made the level design more interesting because you'd be like, oh, I'm in Giant Land, everything's big. Or like if you're in the Skyland, you like everything's in the air, so it's like death pits everywhere, and Iceland, everything's icy, and then Pipeland was my brother's favourite world, which is World 7, which is great because it's all the pipe levels and like it's such a clever design. But I think also like the items as well. I think the fact that they added, it wasn't just like fire flower, mushroom, star, and they had like raccoon leaf, frog suit, hammer suit, tanuki suit, the hammer for the item on the map, and things like that. And I think it really took what was good about the original game and gave you, in my opinion, some of the best controls. I think Mario handles like how I want it to handle.
Yeah.
It is a little bit skiddy, but like you get used to that. But like being able to run at max speed and like learn how to do the jumps and fly and all the things that they added in just kind of opened the game up, and it wasn't like just a linear left to right level anymore. You now could go left to right, right to left, and up and down.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that even recently when I've been playing it, I'm still finding secrets that I didn't know existed. That kind of testament to why the level design is so good and why I think it's so good. So
having a wider variety of power-ups, like item, just really complemented the level design as well. So obviously the frog suit was designed for swimming, and so it felt like it had that kind of reward. Like if you'd gained a frog suit somehow, like earned it or found it, you really wanted to cling on to it until the swimming level because it just makes swimming so much easier.
Yeah.
And you'd really benefit from starting a swimming level if you didn't have a frog suit, having like a fire flower, so you could shoot all the fish or whatever. Just took it a lot further from Super Mario Bros. 1, which is just like mushroom or fire flower. Obviously, that's like
the basics. But
that's where they started, and they're just growing on that kind of thing.
It's interesting actually you say that, because you think about it, in the old swimming levels from the first game, if you had a fire flower, like easy, because you didn't have to worry about it. But with 3, there's an auto-scrolling level underwater one, and actually having the frog suit is like your preferred thing. Yes, you can't shoot anything, but you can easily forward direction and move. You're not like tapping the button to like keep floating along. And when you've got Gelectrodes, which are like the jellyfish things that you can't touch, like with a frog suit, it makes that level, it's World 7 I think it's on, it makes that level so much easier just to have a frog suit for that particular part of the level. So it's cool that they did sort of go, alright, let's expand on the concept of swimming by adding an item that rewards, if you've got it, lets you move through the water faster, lets you dodge around, lets you have far more control. I think it's really interesting they did that. Yeah,
it almost creates like a hierarchy of power-ups. Like it's like, oh, I'm on a swimming level, I don't have a frog suit. Well, what's the next best thing?
Like
fire flower kind of thing. And then if you're on a level where you really want to be flying, it's like, I don't have a P-wing, but
I have a raccoon leaf.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a tanuki suit.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, it adds another level of like, I really want to reserve these items or whatever.
Levels, I think that's really cool about it as well, because this was one of the first games I think on the NES that let you also move the camera left and right, but also up and down. So when you were flying like diagonally, the game's constantly loading stuff in, and they really kind of pushed what I think the NES could do at the time for stuff like that, because Yeah, if you look at some of these levels where they have like coins in the sky and stuff, it is a little bit bare bones, but you have to remember that it's loading almost like 2 screens worth, top and bottom, at the same time, and the fact that it's no longer just like run left to right, like I was saying. You've now got secrets in the sky, so if you have got a raccoon leaf, you're like, well, I want to hold on to this because I know this level coming up has stuff up here. And it's like just like the frog suit. Like, you can go through most levels with a fire flower and a mushroom, and you'll get like the basic version of the level if you like. But when you have a raccoon leaf, you're like, oh wait, no, there are secrets up here. There's coins in the sky. There's hidden 1-ups. There's like maybe pipes to go down, and it's it kind of adds to replay value. Like, maybe not so much if you've played the game and you know where they all are. But I think if you were new to the game and you played for it once, you probably wouldn't find a lot of these secrets and not realise that you can fly up there until you've figured out the mechanics. But the nice thing about level 1 in the game is it gives you a massive piece of land to run and fly, and the coins even teach you, like, oh look, there's these coins going up diagonally, and there's a P thing, and like you see when Mario has his arms out, when you've got a raccoon leaf, you start mashing the jump button, and you're like, oh, I can fly. So I like how they kind of introduce that straight away. They're like, look, this is something you can do, try and remember this.
Follow this up here.
And you see it again later on in levels, and it obviously starts to get to the point where it stops telling you. But if you know where, like, so I don't even know how I know where some of the secrets are in this game. Like, I don't remember finding them. It probably through watching my dad and watching my brother.
Embedded in your brain.
Yeah. Like, some of the later levels in the game that I thought were really difficult, like, there are shortcuts you can take to skip like half the level. You're like, oh, okay then. And like, you know, I always play the game the same way basically. Like, if I know a shortcut in a level, I know levels coming up as hard, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is my pattern through it. But it's interesting if you look at level maps of the game and actually go and look at like still images of it, and like you can see where all the secrets are and all the different paths and things. It's really interesting because a lot of them I didn't know existed until, you know, I played the game for about 4 or 5 times in the last couple of months because I was like playing it on the bus to and from work and just messing around with P-wings in different levels and trying to find different secrets and stuff, and still getting surprised there going, oh, there's a secret there.
Didn't you post something on Facebook that you were totally unaware of until you replayed it or something?
Yeah, there was.
It was something really obscure that I would never naturally come across. I can't remember what it was though. Do you remember what it was?
I mean, one of them was I found a secret exit in a level that I didn't know existed, and you unlock. It was either a hammer or like a music box. Yeah. And I knew that I did it by accident because I think the only way you can do it is by P-winging through a particular part. And I kind of like duck P-winged for it so I could fit for it, and found this exit to this level. I was like, oh, I did not know this was here. But there was a couple of secrets like that, I think. What was the other one?
Was there one where you had to have a certain number of coins or certain time had to be on the screen? Or
that gets you, if you've got that, it gives you the bonus ship. I remember posting that up, and that's the bonus ship. So yeah, there's a really hard thing to do where you have like, I think it's like, you have to have a 10 something in the like 10, 20, 30, 40 or something like that in the tens column. You have to have a certain type of score. You have to have something divisible by 2. If you have all of those things, it'll turn the Hammer Brothers that are on the map into a bonus ship, which I have spawned in the past, but like I didn't know how to do it. It was always random, or felt random to me.
Yeah.
And they give you a level which is just an airship playing the athletic music and just tons of coins, and then you just fight like a hammer brother or a boomerang brother at the end. They're really cool, but it's such a weird secret. I mean, for the longest time I didn't know how to get the white Toad's house to appear. Now, a white Toad's house where they give you 2 items, either give you a P-wing or they give you an anchor, and most people are like, what the fuck's the anchor? If you use the anchor on an airship and then fail it, the airship won't fly away, it will just stay where it is. But to get them, you have to go on a certain level, collect a certain amount of coins, or it might be all the coins, and to spawn the white Toad's house. And it's like, for years I didn't even know that was true.
More effort than it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I can do most of the airships fine now.
But it just shows you how many more secrets there are in this game compared to Super Mario Bros. 1 or 2.
Yeah, they really kind of
really packed it in.
And like even on level 3, it's really easy to find the bit at the end of the level where you find the white block, you hold down on it, you go into the background of the stage and just run, and you get a whistle.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's the most obvious secret in the game now. Pretty much everybody knows it's there, but even that, like, straight away, is like, here's a secret exit. Like, I don't know how you'd find that out back in the day when they first did it, but I love the idea that it exists. So yeah, there's so many reasons to why I think this game is like my favourite platform of all time. I can't really think of any game that comes close in terms of my enjoyment and replay value. And I think a lot of it comes down to level design and controls. Like, I like the way Mario controls in this game more than any other game.
Yeah.
And I think the fact is that the levels are perfectly suited to the speed at which you can move through the game. There are some levels where you have to take it a bit slower, but I like the fact that you can hold down the run button. If you've got a raccoon, you can obviously fly, but if you don't want to use that and just be like Big or Fireflower, like, it's watching speedruns of this game is incredible. Just like the way they time all the jumps, and like, I mean, the levels aren't particularly long a lot of the time, but I kind of like that. I like there's a lot of levels. They have a gimmick or a theme, and you know, like, if you know the game well enough, when you hit enter the level, you're like, all right, I know which level this is.
Yeah. And it adds to the replay value if you were to have a really long level and get punished just before the end and have to go right back to the start, you'd just be like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
But if you don't have to go back very far because the levels aren't too long, then that's fine. I think that's one of the reasons why this game is more replayable than World for me, because you can do it in a shorter period of time. Do it in one sitting, be a long-ish sitting, maybe 2 or 3 hours, I don't know.
Yeah.
World would take a bit longer than that. You would want to have a few sessions or more.
Yeah.
And obviously the other reasons, which we'll might come into.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, we can talk about the whole free versus World thing now, because there are a lot of people I know that love World and prefer World to free. Not to say that they think free is a bad game, they just prefer World. And like, it's so interesting because I played World, and like, there's a lot of stuff to like about it, but there's also a lot of stuff that I dislike about it. And it's not really the fact that the game's bad; it's just personal preferences.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me was World basically took away most of the power-ups and went back to like Mushroom, Fireflower, Starman, and Feather. We've got that, but the way the flying mechanics work in World are so different to free. I find them a bit like almost a little bit too quick sometimes to handle, because you can do that whole dive bombing thing in World. And obviously they added Yoshi, and yeah, Yoshi's fun, but it doesn't make up for the fact that you don't have a frog suit, a hammer suit, a tanuki suit, and like all this other stuff that really complements it. And maybe that, you know, they probably did that because they maybe thought there was too many power-ups, but for me that's kind of one of the biggest detriments about World. You know, it's not to say the game's worse for it, it's just I have a preference. I like the fact that you have a lot more options in free.
Yeah.
You could store those items up, whereas in World, which might seem a little bit broken because you can store up 4 pages worth of items, but like with World you can store 1 item, which, you know,
and you just swap between it halfway through a level or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not fun.
Taking away all of everything you can choose between. Yeah.
And you know, the other thing with World is like, World has great music, and I love the music in it, but I don't actually like the setting, the whole dinosaur thing. Like, it's all right, but you know, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I just preferred free sort of like stage setting and like the different worlds rather than just like all these dinosaurs and things. Like, there's a lot of stuff I do like about World. Like, again, even that game's got some long levels in it. Like, really,
has some really good level design in it.
Yeah,
it does like have some really interesting stuff. But
yeah, and it's got like, it's saying we've got really good secret exits. There's like 96 exits to the level, you know, in that game and stuff. The biggest thing I hate about World is probably, apart from the item thing, it's probably ghost houses. I've never liked ghost houses. I just find them really infuriating. And they're just like, I don't want to play a puzzle level. And like, I know that's the point of them, to be like, oh, you're playing a puzzle. But it's like, I don't know, and they're so slow some of the time. But, you know, it's not just, like I said, it's not to say World is a bad game. It is a good game, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I just think Free just has, in my opinion, better level design, shorter levels, which I prefer, and just better music, which, you know, is debatable, but and just stuff like that. I think that's why I prefer playing it. Like, I've played World a lot, but I played Mario Bros. 3 a lot more. Like you said, you can just pick it up and blast through it fairly quickly.
Yeah. Should we get on to the music then?
Yeah, let's talk about music, because I think this game introduced probably my 2 favourite pieces of music from Mario, being like the level 1 music and then the athletic theme from level 2. I actually like the water music as well. But for me, like, when you listen to Super Mario Bros. 1 and you have that iconic theme, both the overworld and underground theme, both of those are the best ones. Like, they are awesome, but 3 kind of does a bit more with the music, and I kind of like the fact that the overworld theme in 3 is really laid back and very chilled. It's got like almost like a reggae feel going on with it. And
I can't work out whether it's kind of jazzy or reggae. Like, it's just that kind of. It's sort of swung, but it's also I don't know. It's just I love it.
It's very, very chill, isn't it? But it works really well. Like, I like those levels a lot. When that track plays, because they don't feel stressful. It's not the music's like real fast. Like the Athletic theme, I love that theme, and I love the fact that there are different versions of it in different games. And like when they brought it back in Super Mario Galaxy, I was like, this is awesome. But I like the fact that most of the overworld levels, even though they get harder, we still got that like bit of music. It's like chill as anything. The loop's only like a minute long or whatever, but it never gets boring to me.
It really adds to the joy of the game. Just makes it feel like a really smooth, enjoyable, unstressful game. Yeah, and it kind of helps. Like, it's almost like there's a rhythm to the game, and it kind of goes along to that rhythm, and you sort of end up jumping to the beat.
It's just chill.
Jump like with Mario.
Like
timing your jumps to the music.
Which is really cool because the game was made later time. It almost sounds like there's more sound channels going on anyway with this game. So you've kind of got that, like the drums in this are really cool. Like they've got a really nice, like the way the track starts, like, and even the SNES version where they added like more like steel drums into it. Like when they had more power to do more of the music, it's like, oh man, this really like opens up how good this tune is. And I love the fact that in Mario Maker, when you're building, they basically turned it into a reggae, so it's like an even more like chilled out version with like brass and like a syncopated guitar, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't even need to play the game, I just want to listen to this on loop, and it's just like the horns come in, like it's such an iconic piece of music to me. It's like it's in Smash as well, like on the Mario Maker stage and as an individual song now. I'm like, yeah, turn that up, like I want to fight to that. I don't care that it's like a short loop track. It's just really, I don't know, I think nostalgia is a real thing, but like it really is probably one of my favourite pieces of music from Mario in general. And like I said, same with a lot of the other music. I think the Athletic theme is fantastic. When you get a good level where it's like a lot of moving, or a lot of side scrollers use it as well. Auto scrollers, sorry. And it's like ding 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 ding, and it's just like it's so jolly, like so upbeat. And like when you on certain levels, it's like there's a level where you have to start. You go down like a slope, then you go down like another slope, and it just like kind of adds like that kind of fast motion to those levels. Like it's such a good. A lot of the time it gets used is on levels that require you to run, and it works really well. The sun level in the desert in the second world. Oh yeah, it works so well on that level.
Get a P-wing.
Yeah, it's like run.
That fucking sun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That level's so easy now. When I was a kid, that used to cause me so much trouble. But yeah, I mean, I like pretty much all the music in this game. I think the different each track fits with the type of level you're on. Like the fortress levels have a very like eerie piece of music. Again, very short looped, but it's quite a slow piece of music. It's meant to be very like empty fortresses full of like traps, very creepy sounding. Yeah, which I very much enjoy. I think the airship music's really good. Very dramatic. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Like, oh, okay, something's going on here. Something's going down. Yeah, I mean, do you have any like personal favourites from this?
Just all the main music, really. Like everything we talked about, the main theme, the Athletic theme, like what were you saying about the airship level?
One,
that really creates a totally different tone on the airship level. I just love how different that is. Like you start them all by going up like an anchor onto the boat, and just the way it comes in, it's almost like that. Kind of reminds me of what's that level in Sonic where you start on the
Sky Chase?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of that, the way you're going up towards this boat. So that the music really creates a completely different scene in that. It's kind of does the same in the original game, I suppose. When you do a castle, it's just totally different tone to the rest of the levels.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I don't really, like you said, I don't think there's any music I dislike in this game.
Yeah,
it's really good. I even like the when you're playing on like we have to match up.
Oh, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Trying to get a star.
Yeah.
That's another thing I really like about the game is like the little like
mini games.
Matching the cards.
Yeah.
You know, you have to match two the same on the board. And
yeah.
Trying to get the three things together to get like a star or a mushroom or a flower, and the little things where you have to play against the Hammer Brothers to get an item and stuff.
Yeah, lots
really
of
like that addition to the.
It's so interesting,
to the map.
If you compare it to 1. Like if you forget about 2 for a minute, because we know 2 was like differently made, but if you take 1 and then look at the improvements that 3 added, there's so much more to the game. Like, you know, no one can ever diss Super Mario Bros. 1 really, because it's like the grandfather of like how good 2D platformers are.
Yeah.
Like that game, level 1 in that game is so iconic because of how it teaches you how to play.
Yeah.
Without like a tutorial so much. The whole level is a tutorial. But like Super Mario Bros. 3 was for people that I think was more advanced in a lot of ways, for people that had played the original game, but also tries to teach you the new mechanics in the same style.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, you've got Toad's houses that give you items. You've got Hammer Brothers running on the maps at like extra levels, like very quick. You know, get an item. You've then got like the N-mark spade panels, the spade panels, and like the whole fact that the maps are moving, and like it kind of tries to bring this world to life and be like, oh, there's not just me walking to level. There's like alternate paths. Some levels you can entirely skip.
Yeah. Which is nice because if you get really stuck on a level but you don't need to complete it, you can just avoid it. Like, it gives you that option of being like, oh well, that level's pissing me off, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the other route. Yeah. Whereas if you get stuck on a more linear 2D Mario game, do Mario Bros. 1.
Yeah, you kind of have to do it. You have to get good at enough to do it. Yeah, I think it's...
Not knocking Super Mario Bros. 1 because it's, like you said, it's the grandfather of platformers and it's like the basis of all platforming.
Got a quality shot up after that, yeah.
But yeah, it's just nice to have that option.
Yeah.
Just in case you get stuck or you want to... Even if you're replaying the game and you know that one level probably requires the use of an item, but you don't want to use it, you want to save it, be like, well, I'll go the other route then.
Yeah.
Even if you know you can do both levels, you'd be like, well, strategically, I think I'll go this route.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. There aren't that many levels you can skip, but there are. I think every world has like
at least one.
Well, at least one that you can skip, or 2 different directions on it. Like Grassland, the first world's really obvious. You can just skip level 4 entirely, which isn't the hardest level in the world, but like, you know, it's an auto-scroller. It's the first auto-scroller you encounter in the game, if you decide to do it. So it's a good way to like learn that level, and it is for me as a kid. It was probably quite tough because I was probably I was really bad at the game, but like every world, and I think even World 3 does as well. Like it's really it's quite just nice, you know, like because I think those levels that you can skip, or when it gives you a choice of 2, one of them is generally harder than the other. But usually, if you complete it, especially in World 7, there's like a Toad's house blocked behind this level. So if you complete it, and that level's so tough, you are rewarded with a Toad's house, like with decent items in it. So it's nice that they give you that option. You're like, no, this is too hard for me. I'm gonna come back later, or like, no, I'm gonna do this level and get that Toad's house. Lose about 10 lives doing it.
The game gives you more lives than the original game.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the original gives you 3, and then like
to start with.
And obviously you can pick them up, but this game you can get dozens of lives like quite easily, and then obviously that adds to the replay value because you can just keep trying a level until your skill gets better and your muscle memory gets better for every level.
Yeah.
They obviously knew they needed to do that.
It's like this much, in a way, for me, it's not really a tough game anymore. But I can imagine watching people that have never played it before finding it quite tough, especially some of the later levels. World 5, level 9, I think it is, the one where you've just got all the platforms with the string scrolling up.
Yeah.
Like, that level's tough. Like, I only completed it recently in the last year without using a P-wing.
Is that the one with the little bomb thing?
Yeah, the fire chomps.
Oh, that took me ages.
That level is a nightmare, and that is challenging.
Yeah.
That's a real challenging level. just because of the way the platforms move and the way that those things move and their hitboxes.
There's one, like, your platform moves away while the other one moves up.
Yeah,
and
you have to like time it, like jump like that around.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's tough, man. Like, there are some real tough levels in that game. There's one level that I actually skip pretty much all the time, and it's one where you have to pick up a shell on Iceland, fly up, fire the shell into a couple of piranhas or whatever to be able to get through the pipe. And I always skip that level because even though it's really short, if you know what you're doing, like really short, it's so easy to mess that level up and just die from timing out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a horrible level. But again, it gives you access to a Toad's house. And that's something else as well that you have to consider from 1 to 3 is in 3 you can pick turtle shells up. In 1 you didn't have that luxury, you know, you jumped on and you kicked them, but in 3 you can now pick things up.
Yeah, yeah.
Which lets you do, lets the game designers do more stuff, but lets you be like, oh, there's some blocks here I can smash, kick it, pick up the shell, take it with you and kick it into things.
Gives you more control and lets you explore by thinking, well, I want to smash that and see what's inside and
find the turtle and stuff. One of my favourite levels in the game, or there's 2 of them, is in the Waterland zone in the third world, where the water is rising and lowering, or I should say the platforms are, and there's a big fish in the water and it's trying to eat you.
Oh yeah.
And I absolutely love those levels. Always did as a kid because I used to struggle, but I found them really satisfying to complete. And that's a good example where you can pick up a turtle and like try and take it and try and aim at the fish to kill it. It's really satisfying. You kill it with the shell and stuff. And I mean, me and my brother just spent a lot of that. We weren't great at the swimming levels, but those 2 levels in particular I used to love. And to be honest, when you die to the fish, you kind of laugh about it because you're just like, oh, I don't know, manage that. Like, you always like get stuck in the water. You're like, no, I'm dead.
Yeah.
it's like oh, balls. But
you can't just get hit by it and go to like turn into small Mario. It's just over.
Yeah. I mean, you can if it like jumps and you're underneath it, but if it gets you, you are stuffed. It's like, oh no, he's eating me. So yeah, I just love stuff like that. Like I love the advanced mechanics in this game that they added, and you know, going on with the other Mario games that continue that trend, like being able to fly and being able to pick up shells. They're pretty much staples of every Mario game since, I think. Even the 3D ones, even if you can fly in most of them, you can definitely pick up shells. But it's just one of those things. I think it's like, for me, this game is very timeless, and no matter, like, if I'm bored, it's one of those games I can just go to and play. Yeah. And you know, even if I don't complete it, I can just go to and play a bunch of Super Mario Bros. 3 and know that I'm going to enjoy my time with it, just to get my skills better. Like I tried speedrunning it, or speedrunning certain levels. But like I don't know when the right time to jump is and all this sort of stuff is yet. But like I like the idea of trying to challenge myself with it now, because you know I can complete that game pretty easily. But to be able to, for a game to have lasted the test of time for me to enjoy and play and carry on playing it to this day, even though I know like most of the secrets are and you know I know most of the levels off by heart, still get the same amount of enjoyment out of it every time I play it.
Yeah, definitely.
Is a testament to how well made the game is and how much I attached myself to that game.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's no dull point in it, is there? And I know it's been done a lot now, but it's just the way that each world has a theme as well. Like obviously icy world, desert world, there's the tiny huge world, and it's basically, it created these staples that are now in like all Mario games, and they've been replicated in loads of other platformers. And now you're always going to have like a kind of deserty world, ice world kind of thing, but it all started here basically. It's
definitely one of those things you see in pretty much every, like, especially the 2D Mario games anyway.
Yeah, but I can imagine people being sort of mind blown by ice physics, like when this came out like 30 years ago.
Yeah, like, God damn ice physics.
It's just done perfectly, really. I think the pipe levels are really cool, like the whole
very creative.
The tiny, huge thing was good.
That's one of my favourite worlds. I do like Giant Land, just because it completely owns the hitboxes are wonky on most of the enemies. The fact that you like, the game gets you comfortable enough. You've done like two sort of normalish worlds, a swimming world. Suddenly everything's huge, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
It's like okay, but yeah, like pretty much I like all the world, even the last world, Darkland, which is like a real toughie. Like I love the tank levels, for example. It's like completely out of nowhere, you're on a tank.
Yeah.
On a boat, and it's like I love. I mean, that's got my least favourite level in the entire game in that world, but
so satisfying when I completed it for the first time. I did it on the SNES version, so I could just start from the beginning of World 8 again. The first time I did it on the NES version, so in like one playthrough, that was another level of satisfaction.
Yeah, you're like, woo!
Finished it with like 30 something lives, and I was really good at it back then. I haven't played it much, but it got to stage like there was a phase where I played it more and I was really good at it, and then didn't play it for ages, and I just kind of just was really like messing up in stupid places.
We've played it twice, haven't we? And
both times we lost less lives on the later levels because by that point we got into it enough. But I was making really stupid mistakes really early on.
Yeah, I mean the first time we played it we were just absolutely terrible, but the second time wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, after we played it, that's when I bought it on my 3DS, and I played it like 5 times in a row, just like to and from work, because I was like, sod it, you know, I love this game, so I played a lot of it. Out of interest, just like if you had to take the original 2D Mario games, so let's just say 1, 2, Lost Levels, 3, and World, like how would you rank those in games that, like, you know, if you had to put them in an order of just, you know, it doesn't have to be like the worst. Doesn't mean like your lead, like, you know, it's a terrible game. It's just sort of the one you probably don't play as much as the other.
Yeah, I put Lost Levels at the bottom.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good challenge.
Yeah, oof. That game's
but
tough.
It's just not as accessible as the other games.
No.
I did complete it. It was like ball ache, like real precision platforming, real like challenge. They obviously, I think most people will know that that's what they released in Japan, but not in the Western world. So that'd be bottom. I suppose probably Super Mario Bros. 2 after that. Really like that game. I think it's really quirky and cool. Do find some of the levels a bit long.
Oh my god, yeah, some of those are tough.
Some of them do go on a bit long, and there are certain parts of levels where I just feel like this is weirdly designed, interesting, but a bit strange. But I do really like that game, and it's so bizarre and totally different to the other games. But I can't put it above the other 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 is at the top.
Yep.
Just ekes out. But then it's difficult because I think World is like a great package. Obviously more advanced than any of the other games out of those 5. Because it was the most recent. But I don't know whether I can put it over Super Mario Bros. 1 because Super Mario Bros. 1 is the grandfather. And again, that is really replayable. So I think Bros. 1 and then World.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I only ask because it's not to say that any of these games are terrible. It's just this is your own personal preference. You know, if you were going to play these games, this is probably the order you play them in.
Yeah, Brothers 3, 1, World, 2, Lost Levels.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Like, I would probably have it as 3, 1, 2, World, Lost Levels.
Really?
And only because, like, I played a lot of 2 as a kid, and I didn't get there very far, and I know some of those levels later on are really tough. But that game gets tough real quick.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of, like, fun memories of 2, and I kind of like... 2 introduced a lot to the series. Like, 2 introduced Bob-Ombs, Shy Guys, Sniffits, Birdo, like, some of the staples that we have now. I mean, Bob-Ombs wouldn't be in 3 if it wasn't for 2. Like, there's some other weird stuff in there, like Fry Guy and, like, the Mauser and Wart and stuff, like, you know, but I liked all that stuff anyway. But I think the thing about 2 that I really like as well is, like, I actually quite like the music in that game, especially the overworld theme. It's so jolly. You're just like da, 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 you know. And I'm not putting World on that far down the list because I think it's a bad game. I think World is a fantastic game. But I think if I was going to play these games again, and that's probably the order I would play them in terms of which ones I played the most, and which ones I'd go back and play for replay value. Like, if Fruity was here, he absolutely hates Mario Bros. 2. He was like so confused when he played it. He's like, I don't understand this game. And to be honest, it's not really a Mario game, but like, I still, you know, it obviously is because it's part of that set of games. But I love it for the fact that it is, like you said, it's quirky, it's different. Some of the enemies are weird as hell. The levels, I mean, you still got like the kind of like grassland, like desert, ice world stuff. So that was kind of in before 3, I suppose. But 3 kind of really was like, this is how to do it. It's a world map. You actually visibly get to see these worlds and the levels in those worlds.
Yeah.
Whereas 2, it's just like start level, start level, start level. I mean, 2's, like I said, it's got its problems. But I think for me that would be the order. I haven't played World in a while. I still like World a lot, but I have to go back and play it again. Maybe it might be one of those things that like, it changes over time. Like, 3's always at the top, but then I think 3's always at the top, and Lost Levels will always be at the bottom, and then the other ones are probably interchangeable depending on my mood and whatnot. But yeah, it's really interesting because I just don't think, even with the new Super Mario Brothers games, I've played all of them, and they are a lot of fun. But the biggest problem with those games is that they almost lack some of the charm that I liked about the older games. And the thing about the original 4 Mario games is they all have completely different art styles. Every game had a new art style, whereas you have New Super Mario Brothers art style. And the biggest problem that game has is that the music, in my opinion, just does not hold up against the old games. And it's not to say the music's terrible. It's like, just a lot of the time it's quite like nice to listen to, but it doesn't have that kind of, to me, quite the Mario feel that I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Like, they use the same techniques and things in those tracks. They are catchy, but then they also added that weird bop bop in a lot of the tracks, so like the enemies like dance and jump to it, and I never liked that. They ruined the underground theme, in my opinion. Like the bada bada bada, and made it like really eerie sounding, and didn't have the beat behind it like it does in 3. They go like, and it's like, oh yeah, that's so good. You know, I honestly, I would love to see Super Mario Bros. 3 remade in a 2.5D style, with the physics identical, but like with like a really nice like updated style. That'd be awesome, I think. I don't think that will ever happen, but I think it'd be cool if they did remake that game with like just brand new visuals. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I really like the SNES version.
Yeah,
I think it's nice to have like slightly different graphics, and like the music capability is a bit stronger. Like you can still hear the music even if you're collecting coins.
It's much cleaner, isn't it? Yeah.
But at the same time, I do actually prefer the original because it's got that kind of like, just that authentic NES feel to it.
Bits,
just
like real bitty.
The music is extra bitty. The graphics are just how they were meant to be.
Very clean though as well.
Yeah.
NES still.
Like you were saying earlier, like they really pushed the NES to its limits with this game, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they really. I don't think there's any other NES game that's quite as pushed to the extreme.
Think maybe some of the Castlevania games potentially. Yeah. But like, I think Super Mario Bros. 3 was just. It just walked. I mean, there's a couple times where it might lag and stuff, but honestly, like, generally speaking, the game runs pretty well, and it does look good, and it still looks good today.
Yeah.
I would admit, like, more and more recently, I've found a few flaws I have with some of the level design and stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and nitpick on pointless things, because even though there may be like 1 or 2 levels, I'm just like, oh, these are a bit crap. Out of 2 levels out of like the entire game is really nothing. You know, like, there is a reason why this game is my favourite. This is my second favourite game of all time. Mario is my second favourite franchise of all time, you know, and like the next best platformer in my opinion was Donkey Kong Country, which was on the SNES and it's completely different. You know, a lot of people's favourite platform games will be like World, or there'll be things like Sonic, but I think, and the SNES Mega Drive era had some fantastic games, but I think 3 is just, everything about 3 is just perfect to me. Like, it's just fun. It flows well, it controls well, and if you don't like the sort of more skiddy controls, I can understand that. Like if you're into Mega Man or DuckTales, where you know you kind of stop as soon as you let go of the button, or like you know you jump higher rather than further, then fair enough. But this to me is like, this is how a Mario game should feel, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I feel like what you're saying about the new Super Mario Brothers games. I feel like they there's so much more. I don't know whether this is just my opinion and this isn't true, but I feel like there's so much more pressure for them to just create something that's really accessible to everyone. So when you can slide down the walls and you can wall jump and stuff,
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier if you miss a jump and stuff. So it's kind of makes it a bit more accessible to like people who just picked up the game kind of thing. But I feel like 30 years ago they were kind of like they would design levels and people would just accept it because people didn't know any different back then. But I just feel like there's so much more pressure for like designers to make everything perfect, and it almost takes away from that kind of originality, that kind of daring level design kind of thing.
It's interesting you say that, because if you think about it, New Super Mario Bros. Does take from the 3D Mario games. You've got triple jump and you've got the wall jump, which was from like 64 and Sunshine and stuff like that. So I wonder if it was done because it's one of it was twofold. One of it was accessibility, but also like for people that are high level Mario players, they know how to use the triple jump, they know how to use the wall jump, and like you need the wall jump to get to like certain areas, like secret areas and things. I don't know if you can backflip though. It's something I'm not sure you can do, but yeah, like I see what you're saying, because at the end of the day, there are times when I've jumped down a hole and I boing boing, and I like sometimes like, how did I even manage that? And like I jump back out and things, which I do appreciate, but I also like it does make it easier. I think the level design, like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, even though they are very similar games, I think that the level design in those games is far superior to the first two in the series, and they're also 4-player. Those games, like the Mario games, these 2D Mario games became very much all about the sort of multiplayer aspect to it, the like dicking around in there, and also, having just like all about very fun looking, like, but also the easier games. Because I think like if you gave someone free in World, they are much more difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas what happened seems to be this weird shift where you had the Mario games coming out being quite easy, and then you get the Donkey Kong games coming out and they were quite tough. Like Returns and Tropical Freeze are not the easiest games. So you had like it's this weird split that's just suddenly happened where Mario games they always give you like secret worlds and secret levels which are tougher, but the curve was always like a bit on the easier side. Yeah. Whereas you didn't have that back in the day. Like Super Mario Bros. 1 is a bloody difficult game. Like it's just because you have limited physics, you have limited ability. Like you jump, yes, you can move yourself around in the air, but you're not going to be bouncing off a wall or anything anytime soon. Like you miss that jump, you're going down that hole.
Yeah. If you just about miss the pipe, you can't get out of it.
Sometimes you can hit the pixels and you can do it, but like you need to that's like 64th of a second to do it and things like that. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think even in years to come, like no matter how far down in life, I think this is Mario Bros. 3 is a game I'm always going to come back to, and it's the game I'm always going to recommend to people. I'm like, this is, if I ever have kids, I'm like, guys, you need to play this game. You need to see why this Mario is so big, and like this game started a lot of the trends. Like the original 3 games or the original 4 games started a lot of what we see in Mario now. And I just think it's timeless. Like I think a lot of those games are timeless because they play so well. They know what they want to be, they know what they want to do, and couple that with interesting level design, good music, and just because also at the time with older consoles, companies were constantly trying to push as much juice out of them as possible. They were finding new ways to do new stuff. Obviously in this day and age, a lot of it is all about graphics and processing power, but Nintendo always seemed to be the best people for like creating the best games for their systems. They didn't know what they're doing. And you've seen that with a lot of their games on their systems always look the best.
They didn't really have a huge amount of competition. They were wide. There was obviously other platformers, but Mario was the highest selling by far. They knew they would sell well, but at the same time, they obviously put a lot of effort into it.
Absolutely.
They didn't get like cocky or anything. They just obviously put a lot of love into this and really made this the pinnacle of the series.
I mean, if you look at what was on the NES at the time and other platformers, you had Kid Icarus, which is Nintendo, Metroid, which I know is more of an adventure game, but it's still a platformer, Castlevania, like those three series, even though Castlevania is Konami, Mega Man by Capcom, like a lot of the NES platformers by the big companies were quality. They might have like a little bit flaws, a bit of slow down or whatever, but if you go back and play those games, some of them are a bit tough now, and they are hard games, and there are mechanics that maybe don't hold up. But they were like the that system was incredibly good for platform games. There are plenty of NES games that do not hold up at all. They're absolutely terrible. And Metroid, to be fair, Metroid doesn't hold up very well, but like it still had quality there. Like you know, there are and
the foundation for a big series.
Yeah, exactly. And like with a lot of games, you look at a lot of the series like that, like Metroid and Zelda and Mario, like where they started to where they eventually are now, and you think, well, yeah, the original games of the series, maybe Mario is probably the best out of the three of them. Original Zelda, it's a good game, but it's got a lot of problems and it's a bit obtuse, and then same with Metroid. But, we look at the Mario games, we look at where we are now, we look at Odyssey, that's the most recent one to come out, and you just think Odyssey takes a lot from a lot of Mario games, so there's a lot of free in there. You can see that where like when he runs, he puts his arms out and stuff, and it's amazing to see that, like I said, free really did a lot for the series, and I think some people newer gamers might not realise that, but I think every time you look at Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight has a map system that's based on Mario Bros. 3. Yeah. Like, it's such an iconic game, and I think Free and World, no matter which one you prefer, really have done so much for platformers anyway. Not the only games to do it, but the fact that they gave you like the whole map screen idea, the whole being able to move around it, items, being able to scroll in all these different directions and things, like it's just, I don't know, Free is just will always be like a legendary game to me. I don't see myself ever finding a 2D platformer that is as fun or is ever going to best that. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but I feel like that game is just so ingrained in me now.
Yeah, it's difficult to...
It's a bit biased.
Yeah.
A bit biased and a bit like, it's just a lot of nostalgia there. I think that for me is why it's the best 2D platformer ever. I think there even though we're in a day and age where we get a lot of indie games making platformers, I actually get really put off by a lot of platformers now because they just don't handle very well, or they just look really horrible because they're all really pixelated. And it's not to say that they're terrible games; they're just not for me. Like Mario Bros. 3, even though it was 8-bit, had a very clean art style. Everything's very clear. It doesn't look gritty. It is a colourful game. And I think it's hard to emulate that. I think in this day and age it's hard to do it. Obviously we have Mario Maker, which is a fantastic game, and I've spent a lot of time making Mario Bros. 3 levels in it and things like that. But yeah, I just don't think we're ever going to see a platformer that is ever going to do as much for the industry in a lot of ways. Obviously Mario Bros. 1 did a lot, but I think 3 really pushed the bar. Raised the bar.
Benchmark to work from.
Yeah, if I was ever going to make a platform game, I would base it on 3, and it would probably end up getting like hang on, this is very similar to Mario Bros. 3. But yeah, no, I think for me personally, that is this discussion, like that's everything I love about the game. That's the reason why I think the game is my favourite 2D platformer. There are a lot of good ones, but I think that game is just I judge platformers on that game. Like, does it have the quality, the replay value? And honestly, there aren't too many platform games that I can play as much as that. Donkey Kong Country, the first one, maybe just as much. Over some of the other Mario games. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's everything I wanted to bring up and cover personally. Like, anything else you want to say about it?
I think we've covered it all, really.
Yeah.
Talked about music, graphics, all sorts. Like general awesomeness.
It's nice to do this finally because I feel like we did the game an injustice back in the original Retro Reminisce. We should have split those games up, and to be able to sit here and talk about it again, it's like...
It was a learning curve for us. It was the first episode we ever done, and we thought, just do them all.
Yeah, like, stop it. Fruity hadn't even played half of them, so...
Half the video was Super Mario Bros. 1, and then...
a bit of the others,
Yeah, a bit of the rest, a bit of the other 3 games.
But we've learned now. I think that's going to be it then from us today. If you enjoyed this video and hopefully listen to two guys just rambling on about Mario Bros. 3, feel free to hit like, subscribe. It helps out a huge amount. Drop a comment downstairs. I'm going to call it downstairs from now on. If you agree with us, disagree, I know there's a lot of people out there that prefer World and they have their own reasons. But until next time, it's going to be goodbye from me, and it's going to be goodbye from Mr. Mark.
Goodbye.